a fan favorite, listener favorite, John Lobb, on to help us out. So stay tuned.
Fantasy football, you dealing with the best. Keep it hype, authentic, this ain't nothing like the rest. With the Armchair Fantasy Show podcast, give advice for all the listeners to improve your stats. Yeah, we live on goingfor2.com. Tuesdays and Fridays, this is what you want. Talking dynasties and daily drafts, and we just getting started, that ain't even the half. Yeah, so go ahead, tell your friends to join. Going for two, cause no one remembers the extra point. Hey, goingfor2.com, the Armchair Fantasy Show.
What's up, guys? Welcome to episode 162 of the Armchair Fantasy Show, presented as always by BUSR.com. We are here every Wednesday and Friday nights now, live on Periscope, YouTube, Facebook Live, and of course we are streaming in the Going for Two app for iOS and Android, and on all major podcast networks. I'm here as always with my co-host, Mr. Ryan Searfoss. Man, Ryan, how you doing tonight?
Hey, there's football on tomorrow.
Can't
That's
believe
all I
it.
need to say.
Yeah.
You don't gotta say nothing else.
I can't believe it, man. I never thought it would get here. It felt like forever.
It's been way too long.
Yes, definitely. And as I mentioned at the top, he's a listener favorite. Whenever he comes on, I get all kinds of great reviews. He's from footballdiehards.com. Mr. Gridiron Scholar himself, John Lobb. Man, John, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing great, and I was reflecting today while I was walking my dogs, and this journey really started when we first went into quarantine back in mid-March, because that's when my school closed.
Yep.
I didn't expect it to be this long of a time, but I've been preparing first for the draft and then the regular season since quarantine in mid-March. I cannot believe it's finally here.
Yeah, it's crazy because we had you on at that time too. Yeah, so you kind of bookended it a little bit. Start the quarantine and end the quarantine. Well, not really end it because we're still in quarantine, but at least we got football.
Yes.
All right, we got a full slate tonight. Let's get right to it.
News and notes from around the league.
News and Notes is brought to you by Society Socks. Bold socks with a social cause. For every pair of socks you buy, a pair is given to charity. Visit mysocks.com/armchair. Use promo code armchair and get 50% off your first month subscription. All right, guys, kick it right off the top here. This is a little bit older news, but we hadn't talked about it yet on the podcast. Mr. Adrian Peterson signs with Detroit. John, I'm going to go to you first on this one. What does that do with that backfield as far as fantasy goes?
It has now become a nightmare. I want to stay as far away as possible. We don't even know if DeAndre Swift is going to be fully available the first game of the season. I was lucky because Kerryon Johnson was so cheap in like July and early August. I actually have way too many shares because he's like my fifth or sixth running back because he was available on like 15 or 16. I'm not really worried about AP in the long term. Look I'm a big believer. The NFL is about the acquisition of talent, and especially at a good price. The Lions upgraded their backfield. That's all it is. But we are in a nightmare running back by committee scenario.
I agree. Ryan, do you think he kind of fills the LeGarrette Blount role from a few years ago where he kind of got all the goal line work?
Yeah, it absolutely does. This is literally Matt Patricia playing copycat and try to do every single thing Bill Belichick does in that backfield. It's terrible, and I don't think that offense is going to have the firepower to make it where that LeGarrette Blount role is really fantasy relevant, where he had all of those carries inside the 5 on that really good offense. This isn't that.
Yeah.
This is just a nightmare.
I agree. 100% agree. All right, we got tons of injuries to talk about tonight. We're going to go through a couple that are mostly wide receivers here. So I'm going to list all these guys off that are kind of questionable right now, and you tell me which one you're worried about the most. We got Mike Evans, we got Kenny Golladay, we got Brandon Cooks questionable for tomorrow night. We got Preston Williams, we got Devontae Parker, and of course we got tight end in there mixed in with Mike Gesicki. Ryan, I'm going to go back to you first. Are any of these guys sort of stand out that you're really worried about, or do you think this is just getting ready for the season?
All of them. I have all those guys and a lot of them. Mike Evans worries me, man, because it's the same thing he got put on the IR for with his hamstring last year, and it was very detrimental. And they have enough weapons there where they can afford to maybe limit him. So that one scares me a lot. Kenny G, not as much. I haven't heard so much about that. Cook is just, I feel like he's always nicked up, so I'm fine with it. I haven't seen enough about the Dolphins trio yet to really worry. It's going to be a play-by-ear, but it's the Evans one that was a gut punch today.
Yeah, I agree. I think Evans is the one that's worrying me the most, too, because it was the injury that ended his season last year. It just now popped up, and it's one of the few that the coach actually spoke about. A lot of them are just kind of listed as questionable, but they're not actually, the coach didn't come out and say that it's a hamstring injury, but this one the coach actually came out and said it's a hamstring injury, so I am worried about that one. What about you, John? Any of these guys stand out to you that you're worried about?
Absolutely worried about Mike Evans. I'm heavily invested between dynasty leagues, keeper leagues, redraft leagues. I have 28 teams. Now, some are best ball. But I think he's like my third most owned receiver. And when I read that today, my heart skipped a beat. I am definitely worried, especially it seems to be similar to the injury last year. So it's going to be a decision, I think, around 11:30 a.m. Eastern time. We're going to know if Mike Evans is going to be playing or not. So it's one of those things I'm going to get up Sunday morning and watch very closely.
Yep.
I am kind of worried about Brandon Cooks. I have him in a few leagues. To me, he's been a bench player, an asset that I was acquiring cheap around 9 or 10, so I don't have to start him. But I don't see, if there's an injury, why would you play him week 1? I think they rest him, then he gets a long layoff till the second week. So I don't think he's going to play. The other ones, the Dolphins, I would think they're going to play, but we don't know. We'll find out more Sunday morning.
Yeah, definitely. The one thing that's kind of an advantage, at least for me this year, and I know probably a lot of people, with that Mike Evans one, he plays at 4 o'clock, but there's 3 late games essentially because you have the Sunday night game and you got 2 Monday night games. So there's a good chance you got somebody that you can fill in. I got Darius Slayton, so if Mike Evans gets ruled out, I can put Slayton in my lineup and be good to go. But just having a plan, being ready for that.
Have him in your flex.
Yes, good point. Keep him in your flex so you got more flexibility. You can put a running back there as well. All right, so we got a couple guys that signed some big contracts here. Obviously, they're not too fantasy relevant. There is one that I want to talk about. Kareem Hunt signed a 2-year extension, which, with Nick Chubb there, everyone was kind of hoping that Kareem Hunt would go somewhere else. If you owned Hunt, you hope he would go somewhere else. If you owned Chubb, he was hoping he'd go somewhere else. What is your thoughts, John, on this? Does this kind of kill both their values long term?
Well, I would say that it hurts their ceiling long term because I do think it would be hard for Nick Chubb to get 1,800 yards if he's sharing touches in the backfield. It would be difficult to get like 17 to 19 touchdowns like Derrick Henry did last year. However, I am still very confident that Nick Chubb will get the majority of the touches. I still expect him to have over 1,400 yards. The question is, to me, how creative are they going to be with Kareem Hunt? We know Kareem Hunt is an extraordinary pass catcher. He's a dynamic playmaker. If they use him as creatively as they should, I think he doesn't hurt Chubb's ceiling as much as possible, and Kareem has standalone value as a flex play. I'm a big believer, and I got this from Bill Parcells years ago when he was the coach of the Patriots. I'm an old man. The NFL is about the acquisition of talent. It's the same as pitching in baseball. You can never have too much talent. I know from a fantasy perspective, we want one running back. But here's the reality. Nick Chubb or Kareem Hunt could get hurt in week 2, and one is done. So the NFL, you've got to do this if you're the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm keeping Nick Chubb on all my teams. I've had some people ask me dynasty questions. Should I trade him now? I am not. I'm holding Nick Chubb, and I feel good about Kareem Hunt still because I believe the Browns are going to get creative with him. And if that running game is as good as I believe it's going to be, because I think that line is upgraded and Stefanski's going to pound the football, I think there's enough carries for Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb there.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think that's today's NFL right now. You're just going to have 2 guys in pretty much every backfield. You got those top-tier guys, the Christian McCaffreys, the Dalvin Cooks, the Ezekiel Elliott's. Those kind of guys are going to get, obviously, their lion's share of it. But for the most part, most of the backfields have 2 backs. What are your thoughts, Ryan, on these 2 guys?
I don't think their values really hurt that much. It may top Chubb's ceiling off a little bit, but it's still low end or RB1, which I'm cool with. I don't think Chubb's really hurt, but every team runs pretty much a split on the running backs. There might be 4 or 5 running backs in the league who get over 60% of the carries. So that leaves a lot to him. And some of those guys are split with 3 guys. It's literally just a 2-way split. One's going to be on there for more passing downs. I think you can play them off of game script if you're deciding you want to really judge them. But they both have fancy value where they're at. It's not ideal, but my God, if one goes down, you have a top 3 player.
Yeah, yep.
You do. If one goes down, you're golden, dude.
Oh, my God. Yeah, it's that upside.
Yes.
I think it could create a buy low situation too. I mean, you figure they're playing the Ravens week 1, right, Ryan? They got the Ravens. Yeah. So let's say that the Browns get down early. They're passing the ball a ton. Kareem Hunt's getting a bunch of passes, and Nick Chubb gets forgotten about. That gives you a buy low opportunity to go get Nick Chubb from one of those owners that have Nick Chubb that's worried about Kareem Hunt.
Yeah,
Jeff. I was thinking in DFS, Kareem Hunt is a sneaky flex play because game script says that they're 8.5 point underdogs. The Browns will be throwing in the fourth quarter. I think game script says Hunt could get a garbage time fourth quarter touchdown and like 6 receptions. I think Hunt's a sneaky flex play in DFS.
Love it. I love it. All right, let's get to those game previews now. Oop.
News and notes from around the league.
It's week 1, guys. I'm hitting the wrong buttons. Let's try this again.
This week's game-by-game previews.
All right, of course, we'll kick it off at the top here with the game that is tomorrow night. It's one of our featured games, the Texans at the Chiefs. So there's a couple things that I wanted to talk about here. Mainly the receivers for the Texans. I mean, we had mentioned Brandon Cooks already, being slightly hurt, maybe not playing. But if you had to start one of these guys, Ron, who are you starting?
Will Fuller. I mean, Will Fuller has shined in his games where he's been healthy, averaging an obscene touchdown rate, and Watson loves him, has a connection with him. I'm starting without any hesitation this week. I love Will Fuller.
Is that the same with you, John? You like Will Fuller this week?
Oh, I think Will Fuller's a must start. I absolutely agree with that. Now, the question is, what if Brandon Cooks doesn't play? Randall Cobb is a very sneaky play. If you're playing like in the Scott Fish Bowl, where what do we have, 4 flex positions?
Yep.
And if you're in one of those giant leagues, if we find out Cooks is not lining up, I like Randall Cobb a bunch tomorrow because I think he's going to be good with Cooks on the field, but he could be a really sneaky play tomorrow if Cooks doesn't play.
Yep, good call. And it's the Chiefs, so they're going to have to score points. So definitely.
They're going to have to.
Yeah, exactly. They're going to have to be passing that ball all over the place. All right, let's go over to the Chiefs side of things, and that's going to open up for our new segment.
BUSR.com. Prop bet of the week.
All right, the prop bet of the week is brought to you by BUSR Sportsbook. Bet on everything from horse racing to the 2020 election, and of course the NFL. Visit BUSR.com/going-for-2 to sign up, get a welcome bonus, and bet on this weekend's games. All right, the prop bet of the week this week, Ryan, over-under on Clyde Edwards-Helaire getting 100 yards total from scrimmage. Over-under, what you got?
I'm taking the under. I think this game, if you look at it, should be a game where they're throwing the ball around with high-powered offenses, both these star quarterbacks. And it's still his first game. I think Darrell Williams is going to get some burn. I think he's under 100.
Under 100. Okay, what about you, John? What are your thoughts?
I'm in agreement with Ryan. I think the under also. I think Darrell Williams is going to get some touches. The game script says fourth quarter, Chiefs are in the lead. These Super Bowl championship teams tend to come out on these Thursday night games and win big in front of their home crowd. Game script says the Chiefs are giving the ball to Darrell Williams in the fourth quarter. 100 yards is a lot for a rookie we have not even seen in the preseason.
Yep.
So I do like the under on this one.
All right, good stuff. I thought for sure you'd both go over on that one. I think I'm taking the over, actually. I do think he gets enough in the passing game. He gets, 50, 55, 60 yards. And then on the ground, he doesn't need much. I mean, 40 yards isn't that much. He can get enough carries, I think, to get that. So I'm taking the over. I'm going to go against y'all, too, and take the over on this one. All right, let's pick the game. Ryan, who you got, Chiefs or Texans?
I got the Chiefs. I mean, it's the cream of the crop in football right now. That team hasn't lost anything. I'm going them.
Yep. What about you, John?
I do like the Chiefs also. I know laying down 9 is a lot, but I'm going to take the defending Super Bowl champs to open up. I mean, everyone's waiting for this. The Chiefs are going to be fired up. I'd lay the points. I'm taking the Chiefs also.
All right. I, too, am taking the Chiefs so we can sweep it. Move on to the next game. It's the Eagles at Washington football team. I'm going to have to get used to that. I got to figure some way to abbreviate that. You can't really say WFT because it looks like WTF. But so Eagles, Eagles at Washington. And John, my main question to you is, if you got Antonio Gibson, can you start him this week?
I am going to be fading him. I love the Memphis Tigers. I've scouted them heavily the last 4 or 5 years. I'm a big fan of the American Athletic Conference. Antonio Gibson had a terrific year, and I understand why people are tantalized by him. He never had over 100 carries in his entire career. I don't think he had 100 carries at Memphis. He is a gadget player. I'm going to pass him. I know people love the $4,000 on DraftKings.
Yep.
I have made up my mind that I am fading him. I like value elsewhere. And I don't think he gets over 10 touches. I just think that is asking a lot out of a gadget player at Memphis, who I loved. But to ask him to come in and carry the ball like 16 times out of the backfield, I just don't see it.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think he had 33 carries in his senior year, or maybe even total for his career. And to think that he couldn't get that many in college, what thinks he's going to come in here in his first game in the NFL and actually get carries like that? So I agree. I think that's going to be a tough start. Ryan, anything you want to mention real quick before we pick this game?
No, I'm on full agreement, and I'm fading all of Washington minus McLaurin.
I agree. Who you got in this game? Redskins or Eagles? Or sorry, the Washington football team or the Eagles? Eagles. John, who you got?
I'm going to take the Eagles on this one. It's the Dwayne Haskins effect. I'm going to for a while until Dwayne Haskins proves to me, and I like the young man. I want him to be good. But until he proves to me that he can lead this team on a consistent basis, I just think Carson Wentz and this Eagles team is too strong.
Yeah, I agree. I'm taking the Eagles to win as well. But I am taking Washington with the points. If we're going against the spread, I think they're giving up 6.5 or 7 points. I do think Washington's defense is better than most people think, and I think that Eagles offensive line with 2 major injuries are going to struggle a little bit against that defense. So I think Eagles win, but it's closer than 6 points. So I'm going to take the spread on that one. Next game up, Ryan, is yours, of course. It's your team, the Browns, going to the Ravens. And a similar question to you as far as a rookie goes. Can we start J.K. Dobbins week 1?
No, I'm not there for it. They love Ingram. I mean, there's been nothing but rave reviews about Dobbins and saying, look out, all that. And he's been, from everything I've seen camp-wise, it's been all positive. But it's a rivalry game. It's going to get down and dirty. You're going to put that in Ingram's hands, and hope they're probably going to come out throwing anyway. So it's going to be hard for him to get enough volume to be fantasy relevant yet, because he's still third on the depth chart behind Ingram and Gus Bus.
Nice. Okay. Anything else in this game that we need to know about, or I think everything else pretty much cut and dry? You're starting Lamar Jackson, obviously.
Starting Jackson, starting Hollywood. Starting Andrews, obviously.
Anything you wanted to mention, John, in this game?
Absolutely. I'm going right on record right now. Marquise Brown, 60-yard touchdown, second quarter. They are going to set up the Browns. I've been thinking about this for 3 weeks. They are going to pound the football at the rookie outside linebacker. They are going to abuse the Browns' outside linebacker. And you know what they're going to do? They're going to set up the backside with Hollywood in the second quarter. The safety's going to sneak. He's going to try to protect that linebacker, and Hollywood goes over 60 over the top.
Nice.
It is the easiest play I've seen in months.
Nice. I like how John is very specific on his, predictions. Like, second quarter, the linebacker's going to do this, and I love it. I love
I
it.
can't wait till it happens.
I love it.
So easy because look at the Browns have a rookie. They are going to bludgeon that rookie with the tight ends, with Lamar Jackson and Mark Ingram with RPOs, and they're just going to suck those safeties in.
Nice. I love it. I love
They
it.
have a new safety, too.
They do.
They've lost safeties in the offseason. It's a mess down the middle of the field deep.
Oof.
Dude, it's going to be a bludgeoning. He might have 2 touchdowns over 50 yards, but I'll guarantee 1.
All right, good stuff. All right, John, the next game is yours. The Dolphins at the Patriots, the new look Patriots for the first time in 20 years. And my question to you is, do you trust any of the Patriots in week 1? Any of them all? Any skill position at all?
Cam. Give me Cam. I am all in on Cam. The Dolphins have no idea what the New England Patriots are going to run. You could predict, you can think, you can make an educated guess, but guess what? Bill Belichick and Josh McDaniels have been in the blackboard for 2 months alone with Cam Newton. They are going to bludgeon the Dolphins. They have the ultimate motivation. They lost division. They lost the home field first round bye. They lost the playoff game because they lost to Miami in Miami. Cam Newton is going to destroy the Miami Dolphins. I love this game. Cam is the man. And I'm telling you, N'Keal Harry sneaky. 7 catches, 70 yards, and a touchdown this week. I
love it, John. I love it. I've been screaming N'Keal Harry's off the top of the rooftops to everybody that will listen to me. I think he's going to have a great season, and I love that
You're going to feed him.
Yep.
He's a number 1 pick. You're going to feed him. See if he's good or not.
Yep.
Why not? 6 weeks. Give him 50 targets. If he makes it or not, let's see if he can play.
Yep, 100% agree. Anything you want to mention, Ryan, before we move on to the next game?
No, I'm good. John has me there.
All right.
And I want to stay away from most Dolphins on this week if I don't have to.
Oh, well, garbage
time.
It's hard to guess.
Yep.
It's hard to guess.
And I did forget to, we forgot to pick the Ravens game. I'm going Ravens. John, are you going Ravens as well?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I like it. Yeah.
I don't even got to ask Ryan. I know Ryan's going Ravens. I wouldn't even.
You can just mark them down for a win every game this season. I'm picking them every week.
All right. And then Dolphins, Patriots. Is everyone going Patriots here?
Yeah.
All right.
Let me look quick. Yeah, I don't want to go 7.5 because Ryan Fitzpatrick unfortunately could backdoor you. But I like the 6.5. Yeah, I keep it under that 7.
Gotcha. All right. All right. Our next game is one of the featured games as well. We got the Packers at the Vikings. And Ryan, I'm going to go to you first on this one. Are you starting any Vikings receiver not named Adam Thielen this week?
Yeah, you're just throwing the obvious ones at me. I'm starting Justin Jefferson. If I'm in a 2 flex spot, which a lot of leagues are, and I have the opportunity, I'm definitely starting him. He's I know they have him listed as their number 3 receiver, but that probably means closer to a slot and on the field more. He's a superior running back or receiver to Busy Johnson. He has a chance to get some volume there, and I'll still take him if I have to. I could see him getting 60 yards and maybe a sneaky touchdown.
Yeah, and in the slot there, people are worried about, he's in the slot. Adam Thielen's been a slot player, most of his career there. So
I love slot players.
He's done pretty
PPR.
good. Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, I know, John, you're the college guy. That's where he kind of has this success anyway, right? Is in the slot, Justin Jefferson?
Oh, yeah, Justin Jefferson ate in the slot. That's why Joe Burrow. And that's why, we'll talk about later, but why I like Tyler Boyd in Cincinnati. Yes, Joe Burrow feasted throwing to the slot at LSU last year.
Nice. Anybody else you like in this game, John, that's kind of sneaky under the radar?
Irv Smith. I like Irv Smith a lot. Kyle Rudolph has become the veteran blocker. You need him. You need players like him on your NFL team. You need to win with players like Kyle Rudolph. But anyone who saw Kyle Rudolph play last year, look, he's lost the athleticism that he had coming out of Notre Dame. Still a good football player. Can still beat you up at the line of scrimmage. Might sneaky, on a read option goal line to beat you. But I think Irv Smith, when you're talking about rookie and Olabisi Johnson, with Justin Jefferson and Olabisi Johnson, I think Irv Smith gets a little more snaps than people are expecting. On DraftKings, he's only 3,100. I'm a dumpster diver. If you're willing to take the outside shot, I like Irv Smith here.
Love it, John. I don't know. You must have been watching my show all summer because I had N'Keal Harry all summer. I've had Irv Smith Jr. all summer. I've been getting him anywhere I can, and I got it in my DK lineups too. So I love Irv Smith Jr. I mean, there's a in the Rebel scenarios where he could potentially be the number 2 targeted player on this team. I mean, he's got the athletic ability. We know Kirk Cousins. He had Jordan Reed in Washington. He had even Vernon Davis in Washington, and I think Irv Smith kind of fits that same sort of mold. I agree. I think Irv Smith Jr. is very sneaky right now. All right, next game up is the Colts at the Jags. And John, let's pick the game. I'm sorry. Packers at Vikings. Who you got, John?
I'm taking the Packers in this one. I think they pulled the upset. I think Minnesota's favored, which I'm kind of shocked, but I'm taking the Pack on this one. Upset on the road. All
right. Who you got, Ryan?
I'm going to take the Vikings at home, even though they just lost Daniel Hunter today, which really hurts that defense.
It hurts.
It hurts a lot.
I love Aaron Jones, baby. Aaron Jones, baby.
I reluctantly take Minnesota.
All right, good
Very
stuff.
reluctantly.
I'm gonna take the Packers. The wife's a Packers fan. If I take the Packers, then it's gonna be some issues here. So let me give me the Packers this week. All right, John. Next game is yours. Colts at Jags. And my question to you is: are we firing up Jonathan Taylor week 1? I know you were a big supporter of Taylor in the offseason. Are you playing him week 1?
I'm playing him in my flex positions. I have him as my 3rd running back. I drafted him so heavily. He's always my 3rd running back. So I'm playing him in all the flex positions. My challenge, I don't think I can play him in cash games, but I think he's a sneaky GPP flex running back. The Jaguars' defense is awful. Them and the Panthers are so bad in the front 7. And we know the Colts. Where is the strength? The center and the 2 guards. Where does Jonathan Taylor excel? Between the tackles, up the gut. You have an old quarterback. I just think Jonathan Taylor blasts a 60-yard touchdown because I think they're going to, by the 3rd quarter, they're going to be beating up that Jacksonville in the middle of the field. And I think Taylor pops one, but I can't guarantee it like Marquise Brown. So I think he's a GPP and a flex play.
Nice. I love it. Anything you want to mention here, Ryan, with the anything on the Colts side, receivers that you want to talk about?
It's a big one. It's not somebody I want to play when I really play for them. I want to see how their number 2 and 3 receiver end up and what they're running for that team to see who we have, if we're going to be able to get volume out of Pittman this year, if they're going to involve Paris Campbell more this year. I just want to see how it plays out more than anybody I'm playing or trusting.
Yeah, agreed.
I'm looking for a future free agent pick 2 weeks from now who I can get immediately currently. That's what I'm looking for in this game.
Agreed. I'm with you on that. All right, let's pick this game. Is anybody taking the Jags? Let's just do it that way. Anybody taking the Jags?
No.
Nope. All right.
Is anyone crazy on this podcast?
Exactly. All right, next game, Ryan, is yours. We got the Bears at the Lions. We kind of talked about it a little bit already with the Lions running backs. So let's look at the Bears side of things. I heard today that Demont is questionable for week 1. Is that just all wheels up on Tariq Cohen, or do you think there's somebody else there that you want to look at?
Yeah, if I have Cohen, I'm playing him, or I'll be playing him in the flex. I don't believe if I have Demont though, which I do, I'm not playing him. I don't believe either side. I don't know if he's hurt or healthy right now, and I really don't want to take the chance. So I'm off on him. But yeah, definitely Cohen. He'll at least get some work, and even though it's not really a game script where he's going to be getting passed to, but he should give you a little bit of a floor because Demont at least will be limited.
Yeah, I agree. I think Cohen's playable even if Demont is there, because I do think he will be limited somewhat. And the Lions, of course, like to pass the ball all over the field. There is a potential where the Lions could get up big, and the Bears are having to pass to catch up. So the Cohen would be viable as there as well. I love Cohen also in DFS. He's one of my plays for the week. All right, let's pick this game. Bears at Lions. John, who you got?
I'm going to give you one other play because I like Cohen too, but I love Anthony Miller.
Ooh.
Darius Slay should be on Allen Robinson. That should be the matchup. The Lions were 31st in defense against the pass on wide receivers last year. Anthony Miller's going to have a huge matchup advantage against that Detroit secondary. If the game script goes, I think this has sneaky shootout because I think the Lions are going to score in the air. Remember, the Bears lost their best corner. So the Bears got challenges. So I think Detroit's going to score. I like Anthony Miller. I'm going to take the Bears. Everyone thinks the Lions are going to win. I'm taking the Bears on the upset in this one. Trubisky somehow, some way has a good game. I'm taking the Bears on the upset.
Nice. I like it. I'm still going Lions here. I think the Bears just fall a little bit short. I do think it's close, but I'm taking the Bears. All right, John, next game is yours. We got the Raiders at the Panthers. And I want you to kind of compare the receivers for both teams because they're kind of a little bit of a, outside of DJ Moore, I think they're all kind of questionable as far as, can we start them or not. So give me your rundown on both sides of the receivers.
GPP, I'm going Henry Ruggs. Henry Ruggs can score on any play at any moment. He can take a quick screen. He could get a jet sweep. He can take it to the house. He is simply incredible in the open field one-on-one. So I love him, but you're going to have to rely on, I think, big plays. We know Derek Carr doesn't like to throw the ball deep down the field. I don't know what it is. You figure after this long in his career, he would be willing to throw the ball 30 yards. But I do think he's going to get the ball out quickly. But you have to rely on Henry Ruggs escaping the first tackler, taking the distance. Cash games, I like Bryan Edwards. I'm a big Bryan Edwards guy. I think if he had gone to the combine, I think he's a second-round pick. But he got hurt about, 2, maybe 3 weeks before the combine, so he wasn't able to go. Early breakout with South Carolina, great player. I think both of them are very interesting, so I'm playing those. I'll tell you, I think should get more press, and no one's talking. I think there's going to be more passes funneled to Darren Waller now that Tyrell.
Oh, I think we may have lost John there. Got him. Oh, there we go.
You
got him back. Yep. So Darren Waller is the play.
Darren Waller's a sneaky tight end play. I think he's going to get more targets than people expect. Now, on Carolina, if we have Samuel playing, I think he's a GPP guy also because he could hit. This is a sneaky shootout. I think Carolina is going to be playing from behind. Their only problem is they're going to have to try to slow the run game of Oakland in the third and fourth quarter, which the clock might drain from them. But yes, DJ Moore is the obvious guy. But if Samuel is suited up and playing, I think he's a GPP start type of player.
Nice, I like it. And our listeners are on point here, Ryan. They reminded me that you didn't pick that Bears-Lions game. So who you got?
I'm going to go opposite of you just to try to give you a chance over this year. I'm going to go Lions.
All right, good stuff. All right, let's see where we're at. We're at the Jets and the Bills, the barn burner here, Ryan. This is your game. I just wrote down Stephon Diggs. Just give me your rundown on Stephon Diggs in this offense. What do you think he does?
I'm playing Stephon Diggs. I love Stephon Diggs. Everyone's acting like him going to the Bills is him coming from this high-powered offense in Minnesota where they throw a lot, which isn't the case. He's going from a run-first offense to a run-first offense, and he is a quarterback now who loves to throw the ball deep, which he excels at. He can do everything. I think he has a good week first down. The Jets have nobody in that secondary worth worrying about. They're a bad football team, and I think Josh Allen's they've heard enough of him not throwing well, where they're going to take some shots this first game of the year.
Yep, good call there. I'm with you. I like Stephon Diggs too. I've been trying to buy him low, but it seems like the owners of Stephon Diggs are not selling low. I think everyone's kind of down on him unless you actually own him. So Diggs has been hard to get this offseason. All right, let's pick this game. Anyone taking the Jets? No, I didn't think so. All
Hard
right.
pass.
Yeah. All right.
Yes.
Sweep that one. All right. And our last 1 o'clock game is a featured game here, so we'll all talk about this one. Seahawks at Falcons. And John, I'm going to go to you first. Lockett or Metcalf, if you had to pick one of the two?
Metcalf. I am all in on Metcalf. I'm heavily invested in Metcalf. I thought his value in fantasy drafts this offseason was terrific. Sometimes I reached for him in the 5th round, but most of the time I was getting him in the 6th round as my 3rd and 4th receiver. I'm even comfortable enough with him as my 2nd receiver. I think we have Calvin Johnson and Julio Jones staring us in the face, and people don't understand what they're watching. He is a physically dominant, imposing wide receiver. He has special skills. His size is off the charts. You know what? You don't have to run the perfect route tree when you're as big and strong as him. I love DK Metcalf.
All right, good stuff. Ryan, talk about the Falcons side a little bit. Mr. Todd Gurley, what do you think of him week 1?
I think Todd Gurley's a nice play. They've always used their running backs. It helped that offense go. They pass to him. They'll use in different situations. I like that. And they've never really had a back who's been as good as Gurley. I love Freeman, but Gurley still has that extra motor. He may not have the lateral agility he had, but he's still a back who can get some volume. And he gives them a red zone threat there because that offense can move the ball, so he's got to get carries within that 5-yard, within that 10-yard line. So I like him.
All right, good stuff. And then let's pick this game. But before we do that, quick question on this one, because this is a good game to bring it up. So the Falcons at home typically are pretty tough. They got a great crowd. Matt Ryan typically plays really well at home. Do you think home field advantage matters this year with the no fans, John?
I think it will be different, and I'm not trying to cheap out, but I think different teams will react better than other teams. I think like the Bills per se. I think the Bills defense and the entire psychology of the team feeds off their home crowd. So I think some teams are really dependent. I mean, can you imagine Seattle without the 12th man, right? So I think it's going to be somewhat dependent. Now, I also think, do you have a creative marketing and organization with the crowd noise? Are they going to put, like the NBA and baseball with something in the stands? If I'm an organization, I'm going to be creative and make this a home crowd even though I don't have people. So because I don't know yet how everyone is going to react to it. Now, I think the Falcons indoors, I think this helps Seattle because the audibles, and I think that offense gets fired up with the fans.
Good stuff. Who do you got, Falcons or Seahawks?
I'm taking Seattle. I'm going to take Seattle here. Yeah, Jamal Adams picks off Matt Ryan and returns it for a touchdown.
Nice.
I think he's going to have a huge game here.
Nice. What about you, Ryan? Seahawks or Falcons? And what's your thoughts on the home crowd?
I'm going Seahawks. I'm going to cop out and say I agree with John on this. I think it is team dependent. Because you're going to see, there's even teams like Tampa who barely has fans anyway. It's like,
good point.
It says teams who it's really big there. So, yeah, it's complete. I'm copying off of that. But, I'm picking Seattle. I think that team's more together. There's less question marks on it than a little bit less meshing to be done. And Russ always starts out the season on fire.
Yeah, good point.
He started out with, 7 or 8 straight last year wins?
Yep, good point.
I have nothing but faith in them. And especially with those receivers now. It's the best he's had.
Yeah, I'm taking the Falcons, and it's a little because I'm biased and I want them to lose, so I can't, I'm taking them to lose this one. I really hope they do. I think it'll be a great game to watch, though. I think this is going to be a lot of fun. All right, let's pick this game. Oh, we just did, sorry. And then let's take a quick commercial break, guys. Sorry about that. This is week 1, guys. We're still working the kinks out here. All right, quick commercial break, guys. When we come back, we'll do the 4 o'clock games and the primetime games. Hold tight. What's up, everyone? Jeff Lambert here, and I want to tell you about Society Socks. Is your sock drawer kind of boring? I know mine is. Society Socks is a men's sock subscription company that sends 2 pairs of exclusively designed socks to your door every month. These socks are made of a warm, soft, and comfortable blend of combed cotton, guaranteed to make your feet feel and look great. At the office or the bar, your socks are sure to be a hit. You might be wondering, why are they called Society Socks? Well, that's the best part. Socks are one of the most needed and least donated items at homeless shelters. Society Socks aims to change that. With every pair of socks purchased, another pair of socks is donated to homeless shelters. So on top of receiving awesome socks every month and amping up your sock drawer, you are actively making a positive change in society. With 2 surprise pairs of socks arriving at your door every month, you'll begin to grow an impressive sock collection. Visit mysocietysocks.com/armchair and enter our promo code ARMCHAIR to get 50% off your first subscription. Put an end to boring socks and subscribe today. Again, that's mysocietysocks.com/armchair and use promo code ARMCHAIR. All right, let's kick off the 4 o'clock games. I'm here with Ryan and John. We just went through all the 1 o'clock games, so let's do the 4 o'clock games now. Kick it off here with John. Your game is the Chargers at the Bengals, and I want you to kind of talk about Joe Burrow and his passing game.
I like Joe Burrow in this game. Sneaky, but I believe the young man is a ready-made NFL quarterback. He should be able to step on the field from day one. I think he has a nice floor because of his ability to run the football. I think it's one of the skills that this young man has that is not being discussed enough. He should have like 20 to 35 yards rushing. He could score a rushing touchdown sneakily on the goal line for you here. We alluded a little bit. I liked Tyler Boyd a lot in this game. I believe that Burrow is good. I don't think he's going to do like Cam Newton his first game. I think he had over 400 yards his first start as a rookie coming off the Heisman Trophy and the national championship. But I think Burrow will be good here, and he's got sneaky upside with a very nice floor.
All right, good stuff. Let's pick this game. Ryan, who you got?
I got the Chargers. I think they're just a little bit better team, even though I am kind of worried about the quarterback department. But I'm going to get a lay on this.
All right. And John, who you got?
I'm taking the home underdog, baby. Give me the Bengals,
nice.
Buddy. And we're going to see Joe Burrow light up the NFL.
Nice. I'm taking the Chargers here. I'm playing it safe. I think Chargers are a better team overall. And I do think Joe Burrow will struggle a little bit in his first game with no preseason and no real prep here. All right, next game up is a featured game, so we'll all talk about this one. This is one of the big ones everybody's going to be kind of watching. Bucks, the new look Bucks with Tom Brady going to the Saints. And Ryan, I'll kick it off with you first here. Bucks running backs, what are you doing with them?
It's Fournette's show now. I know we've had a lot of people kind of worried that he just got there. Is he going to have a role? He's a really good running back who's shown nothing but being a workhorse in Jacksonville. And this is the best offense he's had. They're going to have lanes for him. He's going to have red zone opportunities. It's his backfield. And I'm sorry, if you're a coach and you don't know what to do with Leonard Fournette and have a game plan in for him, there's something wrong, because you just need to give that guy the ball up the middle, and he's going to make plays. So it's Fournette now in the Bucs backfield. R.I.P. to Ronald Jones.
All right. Finally killed him, huh, Ryan? Yeah, finally killed him.
Fournette crushed him there and just ended it. Yeah.
All right, John, going over to the Saints side of the thing, I just have one question. Is there anybody this year that's going to step up and be fantasy relevant outside of Kamara and MT on that offense?
I do like Emmanuel Sanders. I think he will be fantasy relevant. There will be advantageous home matchups and even on the way, but I like him in the dome where Sean Payton will scheme him a couple deep shots from Drew Brees. because so many assets have to be deployed against Michael Johnson and Alvin Kamara. You're going to get some really advantageous one-on-one matchups for Emmanuel Sanders, and he will get open deep. Remember, Jimmy Garoppolo, if he throws that ball 2 yards shorter,
don't remind
Emmanuel
me.
Sanders might win that Super Bowl for San Francisco.
Don't remind me.
Sanders was open. And he's a veteran who needs to be schemed a little bit more than he did like 5 years ago in his prime. But he's still good enough when you have that good matchup to get open.
John, the first half of the show, man, me and you were friends. We had N'Keal Harry and we had Irv Smith Jr. You had to bring up that missed touchdown, didn't you, man? He just killed our friendship right there. All right. I'm with both of y'all on your calls there. I think Sanders is an excellent addition to that Saints offense. I do think he will be fantasy viable on certain situations. Obviously, you don't have him as your receiver 1, 2, or 3. He's probably your 4 or 5, so he's going to be kind of a fill-in for bye weeks and such, but I do think he will be good in that offense. And I agree with Ryan. Fournette is the man there. I think that they're just kind of playing that Rojo's still the guy type thing just because he's been there and they don't want to upset him. But, I agree. I think it's Fournette.
He could start.
Yeah, get one carry.
He's on there for the first play of the game.
Yeah, that'll be it. Get an honorary first carry and then take him out. All right, let's pick this game, John. Who you got, Bucks or Saints?
I'm going to go with the Saints. They're the home team. We don't know everything about the Bucks. I do think the Bucks will win the division, but I'm going to open the season off. We have more sure things with the Saints because it's the same coaching staff, same people in place. I'm going to go New Orleans here.
All right, Ryan?
You guys remember when the Jets had was it Dream Team, Super Team?
Yeah.
They put together that one year with like a hodgepodge of weapons and flashy names, and it kind of didn't come together. I'm not saying the Bucks are that, but I'm saying it could take some time to mesh. So I'm going Saints.
Yep, sweep it. I'm going Saints as well. I think the Bucks will take some time to get sort of acclimated to all the new pieces that they got there. I mean, they just got Fournette, like 2 weeks ago, so I agree. I think Saints are pretty much the same team from last year, so give me the Saints. All right, Ryan, we're going to go to you on this next one. This is your game, Cardinals at 49ers. Of course, I'll chime in a little bit, but I'm curious to your thoughts on the Niners running backs.
I think Raheem Mostert's the starting back there. Obviously, you have a little bit more in-depth on it, but he looked so good last year when he had the chance. He's explosive. He plays passing game. He can run inside. He's outside. Played hurt every single day of his life, just like every 49ers running back. He's a good back, and he's talented. I don't like Tevin Coleman. I'll never say positive. But, it's Mostert's getting those totes there. He's anyone I trust. I'd maybe play Coleman if I'm, deep 2-flex spot in a bigger league. But other than that, no.
Yeah, it's definitely Mostert for me. I do think Jerick McKinnon is the passing down running back there. I've heard good things about him. You know, obviously we got tons of injuries on our receiving core there with Deebo Samuel's possibly going to miss week 1. Brandon Ayuk possibly going to miss week 1. So our number one receiver right now is Kendrick Bourne. So I think if Jerick McKinnon truly is healthy and he's been chilling out in camp, I do think they can switch him out wide and use him in a sort of a slot role. So I do think McKinnon is viable in deep leagues, but it's Mostert for me, especially for week 1. I think they try to pound the rock there. Sort of hide the flaws that Jimmy G has, especially with no receiving core. So agree 100%. All right, let's pick this one, John. Who you got? Cardinals, 49ers.
I'm going to go with the upset. Give me the Cardinals here. They're going to beat the NFC champs. I love getting the 7 points. I wish I could get the 7.5. I would really like the 7.5, but I think the Cardinals are going to shock everyone at the 4 o'clock spot on Sunday.
Ah, man, not only are we not friends, but you were just smashing it in, man. All right, Ryan, who you got? Cardinals, 49ers.
I'm going with John. I'm going Arizona. They're healthy. They're a hungry team. They just got their big-time receiver. They're explosive. And if it turns into anything like a track meet, which it could, Jimmy G ain't going to keep up. And their defense lost a big piece, which I think nobody in the world talks about, is DeForest Buckner was a star in the middle of that defense.
Agreed.
And everyone's acting like losing him isn't going to affect it. That's a big piece.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think I'm picking the Niners. I'm not going to pick against them, but I'm with you in the sense that we definitely lost a big piece there in that on that defense, and I think we will feel that pain quite early. And I do think that Kenyon Drake can have a big game, but I still take the Niners here. I think we find enough. We are actually. I can't remember if the streak is still going or not, but as far as opening home games, the Niners are one of the best teams ever to win those first games. Even when we were terrible, we beat the Vikings one year. I think we had 3 wins that whole year, but we did beat the Vikings in the opening game. So I do think that kind of helps us a little bit that we're at home. So give me the Niners in this one here. All right, next game is another featured game. It should be an offensive game here. We got Cowboys at Rams. And I'm going to go to you on this one, John. So the rookies, CeeDee Lamb on the Cowboys side and Cam Akers on the Rams side. Give me your thoughts on those two guys.
I do like CeeDee Lamb. The problem is the Dallas pecking order, Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup, Ezekiel Elliott. I don't see how CeeDee Lamb ascends over Zeke, especially early in the season. Could he pop one deep? Absolutely. It's possible. And then you got Blake Jarwin, who's still, some people they're more in love with him than I am. I think he's interesting. Some people are really into Blake Jarwin. He's sneaky at best. But the point is, what if he gets 3 or 4 targets? Where are the targets coming from? Cooper. Now, Cooper has a questionable, so let's look at that closer. But if Cooper plays, the targets are there. Michael Gallup. I have a lot of Michael Gallup. He was cheap. I just, if everyone loved Dak Prescott, how could you not like Michael Gallup this year? So he's going to get his targets here. I think you're hoping for CeeDee Lamb to get sneaky touchdown over the top somehow. I don't think he's going to get like 8 or 9 targets here. I like Cam Akers, but are we sure the rookie is going to get fed the ball? Like, he could have anywhere. Like, his realm of outcome of touches could be 5 to 20.
Right.
I just don't know where he's going to be. So I can't, until I see the Rams rotation, how they're working the backfield, I'm benching all the Rams running backs right now. I just don't think Akers gets that many touches immediately.
Ryan, I wanted to ask you the same thing with Akers here. I know you're a big proponent of Akers. Do you think he gets the burn in week 1, or you think you're going to wait 1 week to see what he does?
I'm probably going to wait. I mean, I hate how they're talking about Malcolm Brown.
I know.
It's coach speak. Like, let's be real about it. But I could see Coach Pete going into week 1 and, like, just making him sit or not have the opportunity right away. I think once he gets the chance, he runs with it, but it may be a little slower than we want to see to get that chance.
All right, we got the 2 Monday night games left here.
Pick the game.
Oh, let's pick the game. Good. Yeah, see, that's why you're my co-host, Ryan. Let's pick the game here. Cowboys at Rams. Who you got, Ryan?
I'm going with the upset. I think the Rams have a talented team. Something was missing last year. I think McVay will find what it was. Dallas is obviously super talented as well, but I think the Rams are going to take it home because they're one of the teams not affected by the missing crowd. I think maybe I've fallen for the glitz and glamour of Hard Knocks, but I like that. I like their team a lot. I think it could surprise some people.
Good stuff. John, who you got? Cowboys, Rams.
I'm going to take the home underdog here also. New stadium. I think McVay's going to have a few wrinkles that the NFL hasn't seen yet. To me, he's too smart not to have adapted this offseason. Look, he was the wonder kid 2 years ago. Last year, the NFL caught up with him. I thought his offense wasn't creative enough. I've got to think he has spent this whole offseason going back to the shed, sitting alone at the chalkboard, figuring a few things out. I like the Rams here with the upset also.
Well, I thought I was going to be the contrarian one here and go Rams, but apparently we're just going to sweep it and everyone's taking the quote-unquote upset, but maybe it's not an upset if we're all taking the Rams here. All right.
Well, they are the underdog, right? But
officially, I guess it's an upset. Good point.
Yes.
All right, so we got the 2 games left for the Monday nights. We got the Steelers at Giants, and Ryan, this is your game. I want to know about Big Ben. Is he healthy, and can he get back to what he was in 2018?
From what you see out of the Pittsburgh sports media, locally, it's the best he's looked in years. I don't know. Apparently he got that procedure, got his shoulder's been injured for 7 years, finally fixed with his time off. Supposedly he's looked good, but the Giants are really bad defense. And I know the Steelers were good last year on offense, but Big Ben's, even at 68%, is better than Mason Rudolph and Duck Hodges together. They're going to throw the ball a little bit better. And I think he has a big game. And I'm just going to make my pick with. I think they win big. The Giants they're not built for this season.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm taking Steelers as well. I think that defense is going to swallow up that Giants offense, and that Giants defense can't stop me, you, and John from playing. So I think I'm taking Steelers as well. John, who you got in this one?
I can't believe I'm going to agree with I like the Steelers also in this one. I think there's a little garbage time for the Giants' skill players. I think they might be behind by 14 in the fourth quarter, so you might get some garbage time points. I mean, the thing I like about Barkley is he's a pass catcher.
Yep.
So he might end up with 9 to 11 catches in this game, and then you might end up with one of these receivers. Now the challenge is which one.
Yep.
Golden Tate, Darius Slayton, or Sterling Shepard, but one of them could also end up with between 8 and 10 receptions just in garbage time where Daniel Jones is fading back on every play and checking the ball. The problem is I don't know which Giant is going to be the one peppered with all the targets.
Right, exactly. All right, and another example of why Ryan's my co-host, he pointed out that John's a Broncos fan, and we should switch this game, because originally I signed it to Ryan, so we switched it up. John, you got the last game of the night, Titans at Broncos. Talk about Drew Lock and company.
I think the offense is loaded here. If you haven't paid attention, Denver's offensive line is better. Look, I'm not telling you it's the top 10, but they were awful 2 years ago. They improved last year, and they upgraded. Lloyd Cushenberry, getting the center from LSU, the national champions, he is a good offensive lineman. He should call the offensive blocking schemes for Denver, and he won the job coming out of training camp. So I was worried if he was going to win it, but he win it. He is a major upgrade in the middle of the offense. If Garrett Bowles can stop holding people, stop getting 2 holding penalties a game, dude, just be okay. just be okay. Don't be a turnstile and get those holding penalties. They're going to run the football more effectively with Gordon and Lindsey, and Drew Lock will make a few plays, and Jerry Jeudy's a huge upside. The concern is, Von Miller's now out for the year. We don't know about Bradley Chubb. He's questionable. We let Todd Davis go. Now, I believe in Fangio. Has players. The defense has depth. But there's a point when you start losing too many pieces, and the Titans, we know what the Titans are going to do. They're going to come in and play big boy football. And I think if I'm Tennessee, I'm in that film room, and I see no Von Miller, and I see no Bradley Chubb. What am I going to do? I'm going to pound Derrick Henry because I've got to keep the Broncos offense on the sideline. Because the Titans defense is good, but they're not nasty. They benefit from the offense. I think they play off the offense, holding the ball, pounding the ball. So I do like Tennessee minus the points here. And I'm a Bronco fan. So I'm going to lay the 1.5 for the Titans here. Because I'm concerned that Denver's right side of the defensive line is not going to hold up.
All right, good stuff. Ryan, who are you picking in this one?
I'm taking Titans. They're a sneaky, really good football team. I mean, if Tannehill keeps playing a little bit above average, with Derrick Henry just being the monster that he is in an improving defense, they're a good team. They made it far to the playoffs last year. They're a tough team. And it's a lot for a young quarterback and a young team to deal with.
Yeah, and this is one of the situations where I think the lack of fans hurts the home team. I think the Broncos are kind of one of those teams that feed off their crowd. their crowd won't be there in this home game. So I think the Titans. I'm going Titans as well in this one. All right, then I list a listener question section here. We only had one listener question during the show here, so quickly I'm going to fire this question off to both of you. John, we'll go to you first. Ed Garcia wants to know, start 1.5 point PPR. He's looking at 2 tight ends, Dallas Goedert or Jonnu Smith. Which one do you like out of those 2 guys?
Jonnu Smith. Like, he's the number 2 pass catcher in Tennessee. It's A.J. Brown and Jonnu Smith.
Good stuff.
I'm taking Jonnu.
Ryan, who are you taking?
Yeah, I commented in the chat too. It's Johnny. I like him a lot, and like you said, he's their number 2 pass catcher. It's not Corey Davis, and they've always featured tight end, and he's an uber athletic one. So I like him there.
Definitely, I'm with you as well. I own Dallas Goedert, and I'm not playing him. I don't have Jonnu, but I think Jonnu is the better play this week. All right, it's time for our favorite segment of the night.
Get ready for GoingFor2.com's Forgotten Fantasy Player of the Week.
All right, whenever we have John on, he always thinks of players that not only have we forgotten, most of the people that are watching the show right now weren't even born, so they would never even know their names. So, John, who is your forgotten fantasy player tonight?
I'm actually the veteran curmudgeon on your show, and I'm proud to be that man. So I'm going to go way back. My 7th season playing fantasy football. So I got to put this in context to make the whole story work. It is 1995. So that's how long I've been playing. I started in 1989. I still have this keeper league now. It's our 32nd year. It was the 7th year of our keeper league. I had already won 2 championships. I went undefeated. I was 14-0, by far the best team. Like, I had never had a team like that up to this point. And this was before the internet. I did the box scores by hand, and I only had 1 league. I mean, it was 1 league, and it meant everything. There was no such thing as multiple leagues in 1995. So when you had your team, it was your team. I was undefeated. I'll never forget this game. I had a bye. We had 5 teams make the playoffs. I had, obviously, first round bye. I'm playing the team that won the wild card. He had a good team, but I was undefeated, so I really thought I was going to win this game. Close game. Sunday night, December 17th, 1995, going to the great state of Seattle. Seattle had a running back named Chris Warren. From 1992 to 1995, he had 4 straight 1,000-yard seasons. And the Seahawks weren't good back then. But he was a monster running back in fantasy football. He was a glider. There's no other way to describe his style. He wasn't a bruiser. He wasn't a speed demon. He wasn't a home run hitter. He just glided. He would go off tackle, and all of a sudden he would just explode so effortlessly into the secondary. Awesome fantasy football player for 4 years. He was so good in 1995, he had 15 touchdowns.
Wow.
35 receptions and 1 receiving touchdown. So he was great. And in 4 straight seasons, 41, 35, 40, and 45 catches. And we didn't talk. No one had PPR in 1995. It was just yards from scrimmage. So he was really good on some terrible Seahawk teams. But I'll never forget this game. Playing the Raiders at home. 105 yards rushing, 3 goddamn touchdowns. I still remember screaming at my phone or at my TV. I think it was in the 3rd quarter. He had a 35-yard touchdown, and there wasn't a goddamn Raider on the television screen. And I'm dying. I'm sitting there. Someone tackle the bastard. Please put him on the ground. I lost the goddamn game. Chris Warren, I love him, but I hate him. You remember the losses in fantasy football so much more than the victories. But I'll never forget, I was so mad that night. And when you were undefeated and you lost in the playoff, It was an entire year to get it back.
Oof.
It was pain. I still remember the pain. Look up Chris Warren of the Seattle Seahawks. He was a fantasy forgotten star.
Nice. I love Chris Warren. Matter of fact, that goes back so far with the Seahawks. They were in the AFC. I don't know if people that were watching the show even know that. They were in AFC. So yeah, pretty crazy.
This is the first forgotten player that I did not ever know.
Well, you mentioned you were 10, so that would be kind of hard.
Yeah.
And he's not a Hall of Famer. He's not like that type of guy, but man, he was good for those 4 years.
He was. He definitely was. All right, guys, that wraps the podcast up. I know we had a few quirks here and there, but I think overall, the Week 1 podcast went off well. Let's go around the room here. Tell us where we can follow you and what you got working. John, we'll go to you first.
Absolutely. Thanks, my friends. I had such a blast. What a great way to kick off the NFL season. I am so fired up. I want Sunday at 1 o'clock to already be here, and I shouldn't be like that. Enjoy the moment, but man, I can't wait till Sunday. But I'm on Twitter at GridironSkull91. I could not afford the A and the R. Follow me there. And every week, this is my 5th season doing the Scholars Draft Sheet of Knowledge. It's for the Sunday main slate, and it's on footballdiehards.com. It's got top shelf investments. It's got value plays, fading plays, and sample lineups. Go check it out on footballdiehards.com, everyone. You will not be disappointed.
Awesome. Ryan.
Find me here every Wednesday at Going for Two. Find me on Tuesdays over Dynasty Draft Room, doing the Dynasty podcast as well. Same time-ish, I think. It's not as strict over there on our time constraints, but normally around 9:30. So catch me there as well. I'll be bopping in and out of the War Room episodes during the week, and be doing the prop bets if they ever start posting them online.
Yep, good stuff. So Ryan mentioned the War Room shows, guys. So the Armchair Fantasy Show is our flagship show. We'll still be Wednesdays and Fridays. Our Friday shows are DFS show, but we'll be doing now pretty much every day of the week. I mean, I think we've got one on Thursday Night Football. We got one Sunday morning. We got one on Monday nights. We're going to have a waiver wire War Room on Tuesdays. So we're going to be live pretty much every day except Saturday right now. And I'm actually working on a Saturday show that we might add. So stay tuned, guys. It's going to be an awesome year. We're going to get some new hosts in here, some new writers, some new faces. It's going to be a lot of fun. But as always, guys, you can follow me on Twitter at JeffLambert77. For Ryan, for John, I'm Jeff. We'll see you next week.